Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Wisdom in the Best Books and Films, where we find bite-sized nuggets of truth and use them to become better people. I'm Jake Bear, the host, and this week we are going to be continuing our Charles Dickens theme. This will be the last month that we're doing Charles Dickens, and then we'll move on to a different thing. But this week we are going to be talking about Great Expectations. Great Expectations is one of the more famous of Charles Dickens' novels, but it is actually, I think, the only novel that I read in its entirety that I did not like of his, and I'll tell you why. Basically, the book has a long portion where it's really driving home to us how bad the main character is at handling money, and it's super long and really annoying, and because of that, I was not a huge fan of the book. Now, I haven't read the book in like 15 or 20 years, so it may be that I would like it more now. That's possible. But there is a BBC miniseries that was made more recently in the late 2000s, I believe, that stars Gillian Anderson and Vanessa Kirby as two of the main female characters. I can't remember who plays Pip, the main character, but it's a really well done BBC miniseries, and because of the nature of the miniseries, it shows us all the same stuff, but it does it in a condensed form that gets rid of the annoying part for me. And so the annoying part for me in the novel was just that this part continued on and on and on, and was like, okay, I get it. He's terrible with money. So I highly recommend the BBC miniseries. It was enjoyable. There's only 3 episodes, so it's pretty short. Check it out if you would like. As usual, if you enjoy this week's episode, please leave a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever it is that you listen. Please share the link with friends and family and anybody that you think would enjoy this. If you have any questions or comments or just want to message me about anything in general, my email is in the show notes, and I respond to any message that anyone sends. Here is The Nobility Money Can't Buy. One of my favorite scripture stories is the story of Naaman in 2 Kings chapter 5. Naaman is healed of leprosy by bathing 7 times in the river Jordan, a clear miracle. But the deeper miracle is the humility that made the healing possible. Naaman was a high-ranking Syrian military officer, a man of status and power. Elisha was an Israelite prophet, someone outside of Naaman's nation, rank, and religion. When Elisha refused to come out and meet him face to face and instead sent a simple message to wash in the Jordan, Naaman was offended. Quote, "Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean?" End quote. Yet Naaman had already shown true nobility once when he listened to the advice of a young Israelite servant girl, a person the world would have considered far beneath him. He showed it a second time when he swallowed his pride, obeyed the prophet's ordinary instructions, and was healed. In both moments, a man of high station chose to respect wisdom that came from someone the world ranked lower than himself. Charles Dickens explores the same truth, that real nobility is not tied to birth or wealth, in Great Expectations. Pip is an orphan raised by his sister and her husband, Joe Gargery, a simple blacksmith. Joe loves Pip with quiet fatherly devotion. When sudden wealth and, quote, great expectations are thrust upon Pip, he proves that he lacks the character to carry them with grace. He goes to London and gradually cuts himself off from the man who raised him and from his sister. Joe, missing the boy he loves, travels to London to see him. Pip's reaction is painfully honest. Quote, "Let me confess exactly with what feelings I looked forward to Joe's coming, with considerable disturbance, some mortification, and a keen sense of incongruity." End quote. He even admits he would have paid money to keep Joe away so his fashionable new friends would never see him with the awkward blacksmith. Joe, sensing Pip's shame, takes the blame himself and offers one of the most moving speeches in the novel. Quoting here in part, "Pip, dear old chap, life is made of ever so many partings welded together. You and me is not 2 figures to be together in London. It ain't that I am proud, but that I want to be right. I'm wrong in these clothes. I'm wrong out of the forge, the kitchen, or off the meshes. And so God bless you, dear old Pip, old chap. God bless you." End quote. Joe leaves. Pip is suddenly struck by the dignity of the man he has just treated so poorly and runs after him. But Joe is already gone. Later, when Pip falls desperately ill, Joe comes and nurses him back to health with the same patient love. When Pip wakes and realizes who has been caring for him, he breaks. Quote, "Oh, Joe, you break my heart. Look angry at me, Joe. Strike me, Joe. Tell me of my ingratitude. Don't be so good to me." End quote. Joe doesn't strike him. He just continues to love him. In this story, Pip receives the outward signs of nobility, money and status, but lacks the inner character to match them. Joe, who has neither money nor status, possesses the real thing: integrity, patience, forgiveness, hard work, and steadfast love. True nobility, Dickens shows us, is not something we are born into. It is not measured by zeros in a bank account, or by how great our expectations are. It is found in the willingness to listen to those the world considers beneath us, as Naaman did, and in the quiet strength to keep loving even those who treat us poorly, as Joe did. That's it for this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back next week and we will have more stories from Charles Dickens. See you then.